everybody, welcome back. Today I am going to take you along as I tackle the lower level of my house. For those of you who are new here, my name is Danielle, and I recently quit my job due to some health issues that I've had ongoing for the past probably 3 years. There's some more information on that in some of my previous videos. I will probably go into a little bit of detail in this video because there has been a lot going on since my last video. So to start with this video I filmed about 2 weeks ago. You will see my Christmas stuff is still up. Please don't judge. It is taken down now. We have more like winter focused stuff versus Christmas. So in some of my newer videos that are going to come out, you're going to see that there's still some, Christmassy type stuff, but it's more winter based. That's just kind of what I leave up until Easter. I don't do like Valentine's decorations or anything like that. So the reason that my Christmas decorations are still up is because Christmas break, while the kids were home, was crazy. I did not feel well. My condition flared up. We had a bunch of stuff that stressed me out right before Christmas, leading into Christmas, after Christmas. It's just a lot has been going on, and that's kind of what I'm going to talk about a little bit while I clean in this video. So to start with, I did quit my job in November, so kind of shortly before Christmas break. During the time, like right as I'm serving out like my 2-week notice and everything, my oldest son goes outside. Gabriel's playing basketball with the neighborhood kids, and he comes home and he's like, my foot hurts. And we're like, okay. My husband takes a look at it and he's like, hey, let's give it a couple days, see if it still hurts, and then we will take it to get looked at. Gabriel is normally a pretty dramatic child when he gets hurt, and he just kind of brushed this off like, hey, it hurts a little, and we're like, okay, you're fine then. We'll see how it goes. He doesn't say anything else. After this, our youngest son, Caden, who has Down syndrome, gets sick. He's got a history of infections. He's been through infectious disease doctors. He's been through a midline at home on IV antibiotics for 6 weeks. This has been a recurring issue. So he gets sick. We take him to the doctor. They put him on an antibiotic. He doesn't get any better. We take him back to like an urgent care. They put him on a different antibiotic. Still does not get any better. At this point, I think we went to his primary. We finally got to his primary. And they see him and they're like, okay, well, let's try this. Everything seemed okay on that day, but they sent him for some blood work. He comes home, he sits on my lap, he falls asleep. And it was like kind of late at night, at least, past his bedtime. He's sitting on me, he's asleep, he doesn't feel good. My husband looks over. Thank God he's a paramedic, so he immediately picked up on it. He looks over, he sees that Caden is really struggling to breathe. He pulls out his stethoscope, listens to his lungs, and immediately says, I'm taking him to the emergency room right now. He gets in the car and he leaves. They immediately, like, he gets in, goes through triage immediately, and they immediately have him in the back because his oxygen levels were so low. They get him in the bag, they get him on an IV, they get him on oxygen. Ends up being admitted for pneumonia, and he's there for a couple days. It is during this time that my oldest son decides to say, hey, Mom, my foot still hurts. Can we get it looked? Can we get an x-ray or something? I'm like, yeah, dude, we'll take care of it. Can you hold off for a day or two? I mean, you've held off for like a week at this point, 2 weeks. Let's get through Caden's hospitalization. Let's get him home, and then we'll figure out where to take you. He's like, yeah, sure, no problem. It's not like he's like, it's not that bad. I can walk on it. I'm like, okay. So we get through Caden's hospitalization. He gets home. And at this point, Gabe's like, hey, it's still kind of hurting. Let's get it looked at. I'm like, okay. And then I realized, oh, crap. I'm about to lose insurance. My 2 weeks were up at this point. We were home, but my insurance was ending at the end of the month. And I'm like, crap. Like, we got to get him in, like, today. I tried calling a couple urgent cares. I tried calling his primary. Nobody could get him in. So we finally just like, look, let's schedule an appointment at this other urgent care. it's not one we typically go to, but we knew they had an x-ray machine on hand. So he went, him and his dad went to the urgent care, and they sat there for hours. The day that our insurance was set to expire, like we had that day to get him seen. And they look and they're like, hey, we think there might have been a fracture. Let's get him referred to ortho. They think there's like we think there's also an issue with his growth plate, and I'm like, okay, great. So now I'm like, okay, now we got to figure out how we're going to pay for a specialist appointment for him without our primary insurance. Now my kids and I do have a secondary insurance. My husband is a disabled veteran, and we qualify for the CHAMP VA, so we do have that. But I've never had like just that. We've always had an insurance through an employer. So I'm like, I have no idea what I'm looking at as far as cost of this goes for an ortho appointment with just the CHAMP VA. So in my mind, I'm like trying to prepare for a bill. I'm like, okay. They call me up like a week later, and they look like, hey, he's in a walking boot at this point. They're like, keep him in a walking boot. Don't let him put pressure on it till we figure out what's going on. So I'm like, okay. Ortho calls. They said we can get him in on the 18th, and I was like, oh great. Can we actually schedule that for the 19th instead? Because then he's gonna have insurance. So we pushed off the appointment by one day, and it worked out perfectly. We get him in, and there is like an issue with an issue with his heel. And the doctor was like, we're not sure if it is a abnormality in his growth plate. It could have always been there for all we know, but he is tender in that spot. And then they did show us a fracture on the side of his foot that was healing. So she said, let's treat this heel like a fracture. I want him on crutches. I want no weight on it at all. So he spent all day, or he spent all of Christmas break on crutches. And we actually went back to ortho right before we went back to school, and they said, okay, the fracture looks better. He's saying there's no pain on his heel. There's nothing is different with that. So at this point, we're gonna chalk it up to a growth plate abnormality that's always probably been there. And so they kind of tentatively cleared him. He was able to walk in shoes. He does still have to have one more ortho appointment just to check to make sure that other fracture is completely healed, and then he'll be released from care. During that time, we are waiting for an immunology referral for Caden, because when he ended up hospitalized for the pneumonia, they were like, look, we need to have his immune system checked. He's getting sick all the time. When he gets an infection, he is on antibiotics, and he needs them for an extended period of time. He needs them past their traditional, 10-day dose. We have to, do a full 2 weeks, sometimes even more, to get rid of everything. So they put in a referral for immunology, and we're waiting on that. And now that brings us to... So with all the stress of that, I am just like sick as a dog all Christmas. My condition is out of control. My heart is crazy. I'm weak. Just constantly exhausted. And then New Year's Eve comes around. And I spent all New Year's Eve throwing up. We had the stomach bug in our house. And for some reason, after throwing up, I just could not get it together. My energy was just gone. I could barely function. I did not feel like a human being. I just felt like I was surviving. So the house never got fully cleaned up after Christmas break. So what you're seeing in this video is me finally having the energy to tackle kind of what got messed up over Christmas break. It actually ended up, this is a day that we ended up getting a bunch of snow. I had planned on being able to do the downstairs and the upstairs, but we ended up with snow, which we don't typically get in this area, and school ended up being out for a week. So I got this video filmed, I got my downstairs, cleaned up and in order, and the plan was to continue filming the next day to get the upstairs in order, but then the kids were home all week. So I was just like, you know what, the downstairs is good, I can keep the downstairs good for now. I could stay on top of it, and then I will tackle the upstairs when the kids go back to school. So that's kind of what I did. So this video, you're going to see the downstairs, and then next week I will have the video showing where I am getting the upstairs in order. So anyway, so like I said, I was sick all New Year's. A couple days after, actually, I think it was like the week before I filmed this video, Caden finally had his immunology appointment. We had to take him to a hospital a couple hours away, so we go up there to see the specialist. They do a bunch of blood work, which is terrible. Trying to get blood from Caden. Caden used to be great when it came to anything medical. Doctors, IVs, blood work, like it used to not faze him until this time last year when he had that midline in. And it wasn't so much the midline. He did great when they put the first midline in. He ended up having to have a second one put in. But I think what really got him the most was the bandage changes. His little skin just got so raw, and he had to go in once a week for them to rip off the bandages, the covers, make sure the line was good, and then put new tape on. So by the time we were done, like his little arms were like, so he had one in his right arm. It ended up going bad. That little arm was just raw as could be. Then they had to put one in the other arm and take the first one out because, like I said, it like busted. And then he had an allergic reaction to it, and it was just a nightmare. And it just kind of, like, I think it traumatized him, and now he just does not do well with anything medically related. So it literally took 4 adults. I was holding him. We had one phlebotomist holding his leg, one holding his other arm, one holding one holding the arm that they were taking the blood out of, one holding the other arm and his leg, and it was crazy. But thank God they finally got all the blood work they needed, and we are currently waiting to get the results of that. Currently stressed out, so if you are a believer or whatever, I would appreciate prayers. If not, positive thoughts, anything. We started getting some of the lab results popping up on his My Chart, and everything's coming back abnormal. At this point, I don't know what any of it means. The doctor did reach out to me and said, hey, we're waiting on one more lab. He's like, there's really nothing I can tell you right now. I have to wait for this final lab result to get the full picture, and then we'll figure out the next steps. So I don't know if he's immune compromised. I don't know. I don't know what we're facing. I don't know what any of it means. I just know that there's like 6 different labs, and everything is flagged abnormal, 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 abnormal. So prayers that this is something we can take care of, and then maybe this is something positive. We can start putting things in place, and it's going to help him not be sick all the time and not get these infections all the time. So that's currently where we're at. So now, on top of all of that, we have been down to one vehicle for about 2-3 weeks now. So my vehicle, which is a 2017 Pathfinder, it is paid for. It has like 85,000 miles on it. All of a sudden started making this just awful noise. Every time the engine was on, it was awful. It got to a point where I would stop at a stoplight and it felt like the engine was trying to stall. And so we took it in to a local place that we trust. They do a lot of stuff. They ran diagnostics. They actually had it for 2 days trying to figure out what was wrong with it. And they were like, we think it's this. However, it's not something that we can fix here. So they recommended another place for us. And they actually didn't charge us for the diagnostics or anything like that. They just like, take it this place. They can help you. All right, so we take our car to the other place that was recommended. They do their own diagnostics. And come to find out, it was actually something different than what the first place thought it was. And it did take them two full days of diagnostics to figure out exactly what it was. Because they didn't want to go in and take the engine apart unless they needed to take the engine apart. So they were checking a bunch of stuff. They did an oil change to see what was going on with that. Because it was like right at the time that an oil change was needed. And then they were getting these misfire codes. So it turned out to be something wrong with a timing chain. The timing chain needed to be replaced. The day that I was filming this video, the day after was the day they were supposed to start working on the car, because they were waiting on the parts to come in. And it actually ended up being delayed because all the snow that came the next day. So they ended up working on our car like 2 or 3 days past the time they were supposed to start. And it's been one thing after another. I mean, and the price of the timing chain components and the hours, and I needed all new spark plugs. The price was just kind of astronomical. And it's not that this place is overcharging us or anything. Like, we did a bunch of research on the estimates of what, like, the range of what this could cost to be fixed, and this place is kind of falling like right in the mid range of everything that they estimated for us. And so, but the good thing is we had all the cash on hand that we need to fix the car, and I keep telling myself, a couple thousand here is better than a new car payment. So it is what it is. So we have been without a car for quite some time now. I have had to get up every morning, drive my kids to school, go pick my husband up, and then take him to work, and then I come home, and then I have to get the kids later, and then I have to go to speech or go to a doctor's appointment, and then I have to pick my husband up from work. It's just been a lot. It's just been stressing me out quite a bit. We were hoping to have the car back in another day or two, and so actually they called us, I think, yesterday, and they were actually shocked that our car was even still running, and that we were able to drive it, and that our engine has not, like, completely blown up or something, because there was so much gunk in it, and the timing chain was so stretched out. They were like, it is practically a miracle that your car is not completely destroyed with how long this may have been going on. So thank God for that. So hopefully we will have 2 working vehicles within the next 2 or 3 days. But as you can see, there has been a lot going on in a short amount of time. And so I am just now starting to feel better and recover from all of this stress and just headache and all of this. So that pretty much catches us up to where I am today. So now we can kind of jump into the cleaning. So at this point, I have already cleaned the playroom and the living room, and I'm working in the dining room now. I decided to go in that order because I just didn't want to do the kitchen. The kitchen was the worst room, and I was not ready for it. So I started with the easy stuff. There were no toys in the playroom because I bagged everything up, and I need to go through it and purge a bunch. But I had bagged everything up because our old shelf broke. We bought this new one at a Big Lots that was going out of business. And you will have seen me in the beginning take the doors off of the middle. One of them broke, and it's fixable, but since the middle ones have a glass front, I decided to just take them off and leave them off until Caden is a little bit older. And I don't mind how it looks without the 2 middle doors. I think it looks pretty good. So I just left it like that. And I will eventually, now don't think that my son has no toys right now. He has plenty of toys still in his room. And they've slowly kind of made their way downstairs, but I do still have like 2 big bags of toys that I need to go through and try to get rid of stuff. So that will eventually be done. So now I am moving into the kitchen. As you can see, there is dishes and stuff all over the counters. Gonna go ahead and get that cleaned up, and that will, I believe this is the last room that I tackled in the house on this day. So just go ahead, sit back, relax, and enjoy a little bit of cleaning.
I see the bombs falling down, not to mention the fire. There's a lion in my bed, slowly moving towards me. My mind's in a survival state. hearts are rebellious. They're in 100 miles an hour. I'm aware that I'm not aware when they tear myself apart. There's no doubt my thoughts are untrue. Or am I a fool? Should I stay? Should I run? Should I stay? Should I run? Should I stay? Should I run? Should I put all your stuff away and check out for the day. There's no time to waste when it's 100 degrees. Burns under my feet. Won't you have a drink with me? We head into town, see what it's about. Barely need a shirt, though the sun has almost set. Make the most of it. I know we will dance and sing. There's a heat wave. There's a heat wave rolling in. There's a heat wave, yeah. There's a party in the streets and the city's on fire.
So as I'm doing the dishes, you might be able to see that our faucet kind of hangs down. It doesn't like go all the way back up. We actually bought a new faucet. That was the blue box that was on the dining room table when I cleaned the dining area. It has been installed now, but our old faucet, I loved it. We spent quite a bit of money on it, so I was kind of irritated that it broke so soon. But the hose and the connectors and everything rusted, the magnet came off, and I decided to just go buy a new faucet, an off-brand one from Amazon. It's still like a touch faucet where you touch it to turn the water on. And so I'm hoping that this one lasts a little bit while, or a little bit longer. Even if it lasts just as long as this faucet, it would still like worth the money because it was significantly less than how much I spent on this first faucet. So, so now I am just going to finish up cleaning the dishes, and then I'm going to scrub the counters and all that stuff.
In the quiet of the night, my head's going so loud. It sounds just like a party. Thoughts spin around like shadows they cast. I'm an overthinker, lost in my life. I'm always searching for answers I'll never find. That's a every moment, every choice I make, caught in a cycle, can't catch a break. Wish that I could just turn off like a switch in my brain so I can finally breathe. Thoughts spin around like shadows they cast. I'm an overthinker, lost in my life. I'm always searching for answers I'll never find.
On another note, if you have seen some of my previous videos, you may have noticed that we still do not have a completed floor in the kitchen. We still have an unfinished pantry. For those of you who are new here, we are in the process of closing in one of the doorways into the playroom so that we can expand our pantry. Right now, our pantry is torn down to the studs. We have to finish building out the pantry so that we can finish the flooring in the kitchen, but we can't do that until my husband gets into the garage and finishes cleaning up the garage, because we did the entire upstairs floor, most of the downstairs. We still have the kitchen to finish, and the office. The office is going to be the last thing we do because we've got this big exercise equipment in here, and so I want to be ready with everything else so that we could just pull it out, get it done, hopefully in one day, and get it put back together. But my husband, with going back to work full time, being all the stuff we had going on Christmas, he's only gotten a little bit of work done in the garage. He still has probably a couple weekends that he's going to have to get in there and take stuff to the dump and organize stuff so that we can get that drywall and studs and quarter round delivered so we can finally finish everything. Unfortunately, my husband does have a bad back. It flares up pretty frequently, and so a lot of times he has to kind of rest on his weekends. So it's slow going, so I'm trying to be patient. It's actually, his back is one of the reasons why when he went back to work full time, he did not go with a traditional paramedic position. So he's not on an ambulance. He is actually working in some, like, it's like a community-based type care. He does stuff similar to like at-home nursing, but it is in a like paramedic format. So It's kind of hard to explain if you don't know what it is. It's called a community paramedic, but he is enjoying being back to work full time. I am enjoying being the one that's home dealing with all of Caden's madness, but we will eventually, I don't know when, it could be a year from now, could be longer. God, I hope not. But we will eventually have a fully completed pantry and a fully completed floor. And once that's done, I have, if I ever get it done, I have some makeover plans for the boys' playroom. I also have some plans for my middle son's room, which will probably end up being done before the playroom because we do have to buy him a new bed. His current bed frame is broken. You might be able to see it in next week's video when I clean his room, but I don't know if it got picked up on camera, but it's broken. We've repaired it several times, and it's just time to replace his bed. So I want to go ahead and kind of redo his room when we go to do that because he's getting older. He's going to be 8 soon. I think it's time to put a little bit more stuff in his room. So.
To my. I'd rather pay attention.
All right, so this is towards the end of all the cleaning that I did on this day. Again, ignore my Christmas tree in the background. It's gone now. Don't judge me. I know it's February that this video is going out, but this was 2 weeks ago. Anyway, I normally don't talk this much in my videos. I normally just kind of tell you what's going on here and there. It's mostly just music in the background, but there was a lot to catch you up on, so there was a lot of talking in this video. If it's not your thing, come back for some of my other videos where I'm not as talkative. I really don't have a whole lot to talk about because there's not a whole lot that goes on in our house other than, doctor's appointments and stuff that nobody really wants to hear about. So, this clip, you can really see our half-finished, messed-up floor. But anyway, I just wanted to take a moment to thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to really try to get back to posting things in a routine. I'm planning on having a long regular weekly cleaning video every Sunday. And then on Tuesdays, I am going to start doing some budgeting videos. It's something that I want to focus on this year, really getting our finances in order. So if you like that kind of thing, make sure you check out my channels on Tuesdays. And then on Thursdays, I'm going to be doing a deep cleaning series, one room at a time. I am not capable of going in and doing an entire room on one day, so it'll be little mini videos. So the kitchen, I might have 4 episodes in the kitchen because, it took me that many days or weeks or whatever to get everything done in the kitchen. But I'm going to go one room at a time throughout this year and eventually have the entire house deep cleaned. So if you like that, then make sure you check out my videos on Thursdays. So that's pretty much it. I would love it if you would subscribe to my channel, and stick around, watch some of my old videos, watch my new videos. I definitely appreciate any support, and I hope to see you later. Have a good one. Bye.
So sick, so sick, so sick.